Hello friends, my name is Trimurti and I'm a resident here at Ananda Village, and our topic today is tithing and how we express it in our spiritual lives. The aspect of tithing is an interesting, you might say, practice, because we all come with individual karma as to how we perceive money, how we perceive our spiritual life, how we perceive what our path specifically is in this life. So for many of us as devotees, we may have strong devotion and love for God, but the challenge, of course, is to be on this physical plane and to be able to function on the physical plane for where God has put us right now in this life. And sometimes money and the challenges of expenses and living in this world can be overwhelming. So we may have the devotion, but we need to blend the physical life with the spiritual life. And to give our lives to God completely, tithing is an important part of that, because it connects the spiritual life with the physical plane and allows us to become balanced and whole. So for us to develop faith in God, that we can trust that God will take care of us, and Guru's blessings are always omnipresent, that sometimes is a very difficult step to take. But being here at Ananda and giving our life to God, we have such support of people around us showing us what faith looks like and trust, and how we can bring that into our own lives. I have a couple of stories I'd like to share with you. Years ago, when my son, after he graduated from high school, he went to LA City College for training as an actor. And fortunately, his mom and his stepdad were able to afford to pay for school and room and board. And they asked us to pay for his car insurance. So we were happy to help out in any way we could. Living here at Ananda Village, our wages aren't very, you might say, just enough to help us get by and to pay our rent and other things like car insurance and food, etc. But trying to live simply and with the right attitude about money is the most important thing we're trying to balance with our spiritual lives. So we said, of course, we'd be happy to pay for the car insurance. Gulp. So the first payment was $390, and Lalita and I thought, wow, I guess we're going to have to go out and get another job, because we definitely couldn't cover another $390 in the money we were getting through Ananda. And I was working at Master's Market at the time, full-time. So that was an interesting conundrum for us to try to figure that out. But we talked about it and meditated on this and thought, I don't really think Master wants us to go out and find a job somewhere to pay for this extra money, this car insurance. So we prayed and meditated on it and realized that, okay, we've put Master in charge of our lives, and we're going to just have the faith and trust that we've developed over the years and put it into practice. So we just started writing the checks every month. And we did that for over 3 years. And I did not have to get another job, and Lalita didn't have to get another job. We didn't ask for a raise, but that money was covered over all those years. Another story I'd like to share is when we moved here to Crystal Hermitage. We were living at the Chandi, at the Kailash cluster, serving the Chandi program there, which was a residency program. So when we moved over to the Crystal Hermitage, the apartment that we were going to move into wasn't really set up for the two of us. Mangala had lived there before, and she was living there by herself. It was set up perfectly for her. So fortunately for us, My parents had passed away a few years before, and the house that they lived in sold, fortunately, to my niece. And so this extra money came just at the right time for us to renovate our apartment. So we were able to remodel, had plenty of money to do it, and to do it the way we felt would be beneficial for us to be comfortable and to be able to serve. So I just wanted to share those few thoughts with you.
Hi everyone, I'm Lalita, and I wanted to share my experience with tithing. As I've thought about tithing, we've been doing it for probably 36 years, and really what I tuned into when I thought about how I did my tithing, or what I felt that I gained through tithing, was a greater sense of freedom. And that freedom came from the different aspects that I had to go through as we made a commitment to tithe. And the first thing that I felt that I had to do when tithing became a part of our life, especially as Trimurti shared, we had to come up with an extra $390 every month. I had to be willing. And that sense of willingness wasn't always there. And so I had to find that in myself to say, okay, this is what I've been given to do. God is going to take care of me. And I want to be willing. Maybe I wasn't willing in the beginning, but I want to be willing to just write that check for tithing and be okay with that and not feel any stress or anxiety in my life. So I worked on willingness. And how I worked on it was I thought about everything I have, all the money we have, doesn't really belong to me. It really belongs to God. So I don't own the money. I'm not really giving it away. It really all belongs to God. And so when I affirmed that in myself, that this isn't really mine, I don't really own this, this really does belong to God, and I'm just giving it back to God. I'm the caretaker, I'm responsible for my finances, but really it's not mine. It really all belongs to God. I serve every day. I don't do it necessarily for money, although I need money to pay my rent, to pay for the food. That service is really what I want to do for God. And so the money is sort of an added blessing, so to speak. The next thing I thought about was trust, as Trimurti mentioned. Because when you haven't tithed, if you're new to the path, like I was 36 years ago, you don't have the experience to back up your willingness to give God 10% of your income. And so I had to dive a little deeper to find that faith, that trust in God. But also by just going ahead and tithing, what I discovered was that my faith and my trust in God strengthened, because I saw that when I wrote that check, we still survived. We didn't, become poor and weren't able to buy food. We survived, and we survived well. And I developed that understanding that God took care of me. He was taking care of us in this situation. If I just did my part, He did His part. And the last thing that I thought about was gratitude. I mean, we look around us, especially at Ananda village, and we see the beauty and the incredible nature all around us, and these incredible gurubhais that we live with. In a sense, we're in a little bubble, but that bubble doesn't separate us from the rest of the world in terms of giving. And so I feel deep gratitude for all that God has given me in my life. I mean, many of us, when I've talked to my friends, it's like, what good karma do we have to have the teachings that Yogananda gave us, to give us, what good karma do we have to have the understanding that we've been given in our lives? And so I feel deep gratitude. And in that gratitude, I want to share with God whatever I can. I mean, obviously my service is a sharing, but monetarily, the world needs money to keep going. Ananda needs money to be able to share with other people what we live every day, what we experience. And I feel that gratitude in being able to give to God that 10%. And so now, 36 years later, I don't hem or haw at all when I write that check. It's like, thank you, God. I write that check for everything that I've been given. And my gratitude only grows much more deeper for all that God has given us. So bless you and thank you on your own journey towards understanding and being able to give back to God.